All right, I just threw us all in right from the get. Welcome, a little bit of a different time, different day, but another sad story. We're talking the murder of Cheryl Coker, Riverside, Ohio, which is well, actually, for three of us, it is an area we pretty much call home. And that would be myself, Bobby Two Trill, Tina, and it's Todd, right? Did I get that right? Yeah. I can't hear you, Tina. I don't know if you said anything out loud or if you just mouthed it. Oh
It's
no,
muted.
yeah, it looks like you're here. I think I can unmute it. Oh no. There you go. Now it's
Yeah,
unmuted.
muted. Oh,
Anyway, we'll figure that out. And we have Shelly here with us as well. If you have to, Tina, you can always back out and come back in. Maybe sometimes that will help fix it, but we'll be here regardless. And of course, if you guys watched our the last time, one of the last times that we talked about this case was with you, Shelly. You shared a lot of great memories about Cheryl as a person, and it was very, very heartfelt. It was a little sad at times, but and as you mentioned, Shelly, right before we started, you have to keep her memory alive. You have to keep that name out in the public. And that's not what's being done with our local media here. It's almost like it disappears until the anniversary date. And then all of a sudden they want to talk, but it's painful. And that's why we, greatly appreciate you guys taking the time to come on and talk about something that is, so painful, bringing up such horrible memories. I don't hear what she don't hear anything. Me either. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
I
you.
can hear you. Yeah.
Shelly,
You
you
wanna?
can't hear me? Shelly can't hear me?
Do you wanna just close out and try again? I don't know if that'll help.
We were all just talking.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
crazy.
mean,
That is
literally
weird.
didn't do anything.
And it doesn't
Holy
look like anyone's muted. So
No, don't look like it.
no. Wow. I see talking, but I can't hear anything.
Okay,
Hmm.
let's see.
Well, we're that this is good stuff. This is
Oh
live. This
yeah,
is, I have no idea. Um.
hold on.
Okay,
I
I'm gonna see if I
will.
can get them to.
Maybe it's because they were two separate links. Remember, your cat unplugged you.
Uh, okay. So I sent them a message. Sorry about this, guys. I'm gonna have them leave and come back in, and maybe that'll work. It's weird that you guys can hear me,
Yeah, it's
mm,
coming through fine here.
and we
yeah.
were and we were just talking, uh, right before. We
Yeah,
were
it's
just
weird.
talking. Shelly was going on a rant that I hope that she takes and that she does
Me
again.
too. I love seeing that.
There's going to be a lot of fire on this special little edition of the podcast. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we got here. Shelly.
Hey, hey.
Hear you.
All
Oh
right.
yeah.
We're
All
Yay!
getting
right.
somewhere. Now let's see. Now let's see what happens with Tina. That was so weird. We were just talking. You were going on a rant. I was like, let me hurry up and hit this live button so we can preserve that energy. And then, damn, I hit the live button. Nobody can hear me. And it was just you and Tina and Todd. It was strange. So
yeah, I couldn't hear anything, but I still got it in me to rant on.
That's awesome. But I was saying what you didn't hear was I was mentioning that, as much as we have to keep Cheryl's name out there in the public's mind and keep it, alive, it's so painful because when talking about this case, like we're going to talk about this evening, you almost, it's like that. It's like PTSD. I mean, it's like reliving everything that happened years ago. I mean, it's and that's why we're so appreciative of, yourself coming on here again twice. And
Well, I appreciate
And
that
I
as well. I mean, it's, like yours, like PTSD, like nobody, nobody knows what to do in this type of situation. And
right.
you go on and you speak your truth, you speak of what you know, you speak of the facts of what you do know or what you think, and you get ridiculed sometimes on it. And
Mhm.
why, why do people come after you when, your best friend over 20 years is gone, is missing, and now, we know she's been murdered. And then 5 years later, 10 years
Hi,
later,
Tina.
I'm back.
Oh,
All
good. We
right.
can hear you.
But what I was just saying, it's like you just relive everything.
Yeah.
And my situation is not what you guys went through, but I definitely recently kind of had very similar feelings. So when you said that, I understand. I lost my dad 2 years ago on January 20th, and all of the stuff leading up to losing him has been popping back up in my memories, like all of our our reach outs to everyone, letting them know what was going on, and having to reread some of that and some of the stories that people sent to us after losing my dad, and the pictures they sent, the memories and the videos they made. It was like, it was so nice to see them about him, but at the same time it was like that deep, like, hurt in your chest, like, they're not coming back. It makes you sick to your stomach almost. I definitely can relate to that to a certain extent. Of course, like I said, it's a little bit different, but I
But that
recently went through something similar. Yeah.
it makes it worse though because it's so unsettled. Because I
Yeah.
thought, my grandma, people like that. Luckily, my parents are still here. But when you lose somebody like this,
Yep.
it hurts.
Yeah.
It's worse because you feel no peace.
Yeah.
And that's
And
kind of what we're going through. My dad was malpractice. So, and we're still, and it was during COVID. So there's nothing we can really do. And the doctor is still practicing. So and then you have both sides where it's like, oh, that's conspiracy, or, oh, that couldn't have been what happened. And then you have the paperwork kind of similar to what you guys are going through. And you're like, the facts are here. It's kind of, so I can't imagine what you guys are going through by any means. And we like, I pray for you guys constantly, hoping that you can find the peace, because I can't imagine that feeling.
Tina,
Sorry.
oh, I'm sorry. What was that, Shelley?
Oh, I just said I'm sorry for Kelly's loss.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Tina and Todd, I would like you guys to we had Shelley on last time, speaking about Cheryl as a person. We didn't really dive too much into the nuts and bolts of the case, which is something that I would like to do this evening. But before we get to that, I want to hear some stories. I want to hear you guys talk about the good times. There's been years of friendship, on this screen right now with her. I know we've heard lots of stories from Shelley, so I want to give you guys the floor to go in whatever direction that you want to go. Let's talk about Cheryl.
Well, Cheryl and I became friends once we were 15. So I think we were in 10th grade, right? Yeah, because I think it was through. I think I met her through because of Todd. I'm pretty positive. It's just, I don't even remember now. But Todd knew her since they were in grade school. Grade school, so they were really young. You guys were in the same classes together and stuff, and But I was sitting there at work, thinking of this stuff, trying not to cry, thinking of all the fun things that we did. And I remembered how we'd always go every week. We were together. We were together all the time especially when she was a single mom, and we'd watch 90210 and Beverly Hills Beverly Hills 90210 or something like that, or Melrose Place. Sorry. Yep. And we watched those every week. I went to her house, or she came to my house, and
I remember that
because she didn't like the show so much.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I'm right there with him.
Mind you, we're in our 20s, right? So that we like that kind of stuff, and just like Todd will think of so many memories. Like one time we were out one night when what did she wreck? It was her fault. He's shaking her head because she drove so funny. She was so funny because she had no fear.
She was something on the road, yeah. Yeah.
I just love these pictures and videos you guys sent too. They're amazing, and she just glows in every picture. You can tell she had such a huge personality. It shows so much to the pictures and videos that you guys sent.
Yeah, that says it all right there. And pictures is all you got. That says it all, really. I mean, she
was fun.
She was a very fun girl. She was always here, really, and
she was never in a bad mood.
No,
I don't recall one.
No, not
except for the bad things that she,
except for the last
stuff like that.
Except for the last, life. I'm sure. Other than that,
she was just a great person.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, Todd, because when I was going through these pictures, getting them in here to StreamYard, I was looking. I was like, it's like I know her. It's really weird. It's like I know what kind of person she is. When you see a picture like this,
she was a little spitfire.
That was that night that we went out to the Oregon district. Yeah, so. We had a good time.
I remember many nights at the Oregon District with Cheryl. I remember many being the drunken cab driver. The cab
Todd
driver.
Was always he would always take us to get out, and then he'd pick us back up. So we never was drinking and driving. But one night we all went out for Halloween. This was really fun. We used to go to the asylum.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Dr. Creep there, right?
Yeah.
And stuff, and then they had pizzas. They would have all the pizza party and all that stuff. And we were like, oh, we want a couple pieces of
everybody
pizza.
Everybody go up and get a slice of pizza. We're sitting at the bar, and Cheryl brings up a whole fucking large pizza. Here, I got pizza.
We were laughing so hard because nobody else did that. Like, she was so funny. Like, and the videos I sent, like, gosh, it just shows her funniness. I love it.
I actually showed the video to my other half, and he was like, oh my gosh, she's so goofy. You can tell like that. Oh, you love me. Like her little goofy. I loved that so much. He was like, she seemed like she was a lot of fun. And you can tell, like they said, you can just see it in the videos and in the pictures, and her smile. It's almost contagious. You can't help but smile when you see them. And we didn't even get to meet her in person. So I can only imagine how you guys felt having her as a friend.
One of the least person I know that anybody would want to harm.
Yeah, I get that impression again just from going through the pictures. It's like I'm not seeing this person having too many enemies.
I don't know that she had any except for one.
Yeah.
That was actually a question I was going to ask, and I think we all are kind of on the same page with who we believe did it. But I was going to ask, is there anyone else at all, if we were going to play hypotheticals here, that anybody at all that you could think of that would have done anything like this to her outside of her husband? Because we all feel the same way.
No, there are no hypotheticals. There are no hypotheticals. It's really cut and dried. Really, it really is.
We feel the same. We honestly feel the same. Everything that now, obviously, we're not prosecutors. We're not
Right.
we're not detectives, but
You don't
everything
have
that
to
we've
be
watched,
in this.
exactly
have-
everything we've watched and researched, everything you guys have said, it just, I don't understand how there isn't more going on in the court system with this at this point.
He's right. You don't have to be. You don't have to be Matlock to figure it out.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all. And that's what's so frustrating, you know, about this case is that all fingers. I mean, we've covered a lot of you know, not so well known unsolved cases from you know, around the states, and it's we've had cases that had less than what they have, and you know, on Bill, and these people are, I mean, for one, you know, the Delphi murders with Abby and Libby. They got less on the guy they have in custody than, you know, they do Bill, and yet I ran into him at Costco a few weeks ago, and I knew that he worked there, and I got such an eerie feeling when I walked up. I noticed he looked at my oldest daughter. She has the membership there, and I'm standing next to her, and I'm 2 feet away from him, and I'm just looking at him, and I'm just soaking it all in. And I noticed him kind of look at me almost as if he knew me, but I really doubt that he has seen anything that I've done on this case.
Look like Tom.
I'm sorry.
Look like Tom Araya. You don't look like somebody who'd be doing. You know who Tom Araya is?
Yeah, right. Right.
The singer.
So, yeah. I've seen him twice, I believe.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah, you know, he just gave me a weird vibe, and then I noticed just kind of like the look he gave my daughter. I noticed it. I don't think she did, because I think she was fumbling with her wallet or something, putting her card away or whatnot.
Yeah.
But it was creepy.
Well,
There,
you were
there
right.
was, yeah.
You were right to feel like that. You're on the right. You're on the right track, buddy.
Because the thing is whenever, like when they first hooked up, everybody was like that. Like there's people who just never felt comfortable being around him because,
Yeah.
and then looking back, you know, I was just so happy that Cheryl was happy, and you know, because you know, I mean, she was. So I really didn't pay attention, but you know, looking back, and you know, talking to some of our other girlfriends, and they're like, he would just stare at you, and then you know, as we've learned more about Bill and stuff, and know what a disgusting person he is. Yeah, it's like when he looks at women, he looks at them like he's hungry. You know, because he's a disgusting pervert, you know.
Yeah.
And he thinks women are just sexual objects, really, for the most part, right? I mean, that's what I think, you know.
Well, his track record shows that. I mean, he put his ex in the hospital. I believe she was the mother of his twin boys, put her in the hospital, you know, tried to run Cheryl off the road or run him over. I believe he tried to run her off the road after she threatened divorce the first time, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah,
And I can't imagine you guys, Tina, you do still live in the same town, correct? I heard that, right? I can't imagine how you guys feel. I mean, like, we are angered about the case and we're not personally involved. So I cannot imagine having to live in the same town as that person, knowing what you guys know and knowing that nothing's being done about it. And my heart goes out for you, because the anger that I feel, I can only imagine running into him in person and you guys having to live in the same town as him. I hope that you guys get relief at some point, because especially, like, I hear your husband when he talks about it, and I love the fire you guys have, because I'm sure that is something that Cheryl still really appreciates about you, because that's what's keeping her name out there. But I can only imagine, just by the way he talks, how he would feel if you ran into him too, and rightfully so. Gosh. I can't imagine.
Running to me. Bill don't want to run to me because I will put him on the spot like you ain't never seen somebody put on the spot. I'll have everybody in that fucking place wherever we're at looking at him.
Yeah.
I don't ever see him out. I don't ever see him out, and I don't go into Costco.
Yeah.
probably a good thing.
Yeah.
You know,
But
what's
maybe
crazy is
he deserves every bit of what he gets, no matter what.
oh yeah.
True. Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is, karma will get Bill. It will get him. It'll get him.
Mhm.
And
we just hope it's sooner than later.
You know, and I hope when it does get him, I'm standing over top of him. You know.
Let's if we can, I know this is always tough, but you guys were probably in communication with Cheryl, you know, days prior to her going missing. And can you talk about where was her head at? I know there was a lot of things by that point. She had filed for divorce again. I believe that was like 11 days prior to her again going missing. Now I say it that way because at that time that's all they presumed it was a missing person.
Oh, I knew the day she was gone that she was dead.
Wow. And you probably knew it was Bill.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes. I don't know why,
Yeah.
you know, the people closest to her like, yes, this is him.
Well, can I ask, have there been any detectives that have reached out to you guys as well as you knew her and as much contact as you guys have had? Have they asked your opinion at all on any of that? That's mind blowing to me. I can't grasp that.
The question that I have, you know, is what if this was Matt Heck's daughter? Would he be would it be being handled the same fucking way as this is being handled?
Right.
I think all of us know what the answer to that is.
Yes.
Right. It's unbelievable, really. You know, I've been watching this since it first happened, and there isn't a person I've talked to ever since it happened who doesn't agree that this should be open and shut. You know, when they showed on TV, you know, the person parking the car, going right back to the house. If I'm sitting on a jury or something, man, that it's going to be hard to convince me otherwise than it was him. So, what do you guys think the holdup is here?
I really don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I would love to know, but I don't know. I mean, it's just everything now is just, you know, we're angry.
Well, I do know this. I know this. I grew up in Mad River. It was called Mad River before. I mean, you guys know about that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I was a kid in the 70s, in the late 70s, and the early 80s. And if this would have happened then, there would be no fucking way Bill would be getting off of this. There's no freaking way. It wouldn't have happened.
Cops are very different.
I mean, cops are very different today. The cops we had back then, they would have not let Bill beat them. They just would not have let that happen.
Yeah. And
because
they
all know he's guilty. They all know that he's the sole suspect. That's why nobody's even being looked at, because they know he did it.
Yeah, I think DNA and things like that have really hurt a lot because they stopped using common sense. You know, we can't find DNA. We don't have this. We don't. It doesn't matter if 5 people were to see him. You know, I don't understand it either. Other than, you know, could it possibly be that he has some friends in high places or something?
That was always my kind of thought.
But I don't think he has friends.
I mean, I know anybody to really hang out with them or anything.
Bill's a manipulator, and he don't want to be around anybody he can't manipulate.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. Shelly, did you speak with Cheryl? When was the last time you spoke to Cheryl before she went missing? And what was her mindset? Did anything strike you as something may be wrong? I mean, I'm sure, you know, you guys didn't really, I don't know, maybe you did suspect that something this bad would happen, but you knew divorce is always rough. And then, of course, it's going to be rougher when, you know, you get a shitbag like him.
Right.
But did you get anything out of your last conversation? Oh, hold on. Todd, what do you got, buddy?
Let me just speak on that for her. Let me just speak on that for her.
I love the fire.
Let me tell you something. This girl is dead because she had recently learned about things that Bill was doing, and she was going to fucking burn his ass down for it. That's what fucking all is.
That makes sense
That's
to me.
Nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can
And
be
Shelly, I know.
It could be corroborated, and you know.
He's getting up on that. Like it's hard. It's hard.
It is.
It's frustrating. There's no doubt.
Well, yeah, I mean, I spoke to her, you know, like it was like one maybe times a day, you know, there at the end because she was going through a hard time, you know, so we would talk, make sure, you know, everything's okay, or she would call me, you know, something else had happened. And I said September 6th is when they told Michaela that they were going to get divorced. And Bill had taken Michaela to the movies, and Cheryl had called, and she's like, well, when they get home, we're going to let Michaela know that we're going to get divorced, and because I'm not going to go on the Florida trip with them.
Right.
Want Michaela, this is her trip. We don't want her to see her parents fight on a trip that's just for her. She said, I'd rather rise because she had a bad neck and back. And she said, Bill rides the rides anyways. And she goes, I just hope when they get home, it's going to be civil and that she understands that we both love her. And it's just something that we're just going to have to do. And so we had talked on the phone, and she could see where Michaela was. And she said, well, they're on their way home. I'll call you. So, well, good luck. And she's like, well, I'm just afraid that he's going to turn me. And I said, well, don't. I said, if he does, then bring up his girlfriend. And she's like, but I don't want it to get to that point. And so she called me after they had talked to Michaela, and she goes, well, I knew he was going to do it. She said, he comes in, and we have Michaela sit down, and he said, well, what it boils down to is that your mom wants a divorce. She's seen other guys, and that's it. And I said, well, did you bring up Aaron? She said, I had to, because he was putting everything on me. So Michaela ended up going to a friend's house later on that evening. And then, like I said, I had talked to her, you know, all through that time. And then they had gone on the Florida trip, but her niece was also getting married, you know, and she was home for that. And I had called a couple of times, and she hadn't answered. And I think I called like that Sunday or something. And she said that they were taking their granddaughter, Marissa and her were taking their granddaughter to get ice cream. And I said, well, I just called to see how you're doing. And she said, well, not doing so hot, but we'll be okay. But, you know, I said prior to that, you know, I told her, I said, you're going to have to find your happy again. That's what I kept on, you know, kind of stressing to her, because I never thought that anything like this was going to happen. You know, Bill had brought up, you know, that when she was trying to move out, she was putting in applications to get an apartment. And she had said that Bill was not going to let her take anything from the house. I said, well, it's 50-50. I said, you guys have a couple couches. You can at least take one. She goes, nope, he's not going to let me take anything.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
No, I don't either. And so she had taken some of her stuff over to her mom's house during that time until she was going to move. And then her lawyer had also said, you know, that she couldn't leave because it would look like abandonment, because Michaela was going to live with her. Right. And, you know, but Bill kept on stressing to Cheryl, well, Michaela's not going to want to leave her childhood home. She's lived here forever, and you're going to take her out of this home. But that was her baby. And, you know, Cheryl had asked Michaela, you know, hey, your dad says that you want to live in this home and not move with me. And she said, well, Mom, of course I'm going to live with you. And I don't think Bill liked that too much. But yeah, I mean, she had a rough time, and But like I said, I just kept on, you're going to find your happy.
Yeah.
And because I said, he's going to, him and Aaron obviously are going to go on with each other, but you need to find out what you want to do and live your life.
Absolutely.
He literally sounds like a textbook narcissist. Like everything you say is
you should
100%.
Like Cheryl, her Facebook post for probably a good, I don't know, months, like at least once a week, it was a post about narcissist, gaslighting, that was on her Facebook.
Because he is, because he's a victim. Bill, he's a fucking victim. Give me a break.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think
I was just gonna say, living in this area, I expected a lot more from our local law enforcement and stuff. What a letdown! It's quite embarrassing, really. And I think they should be embarrassed.
Good.
Yeah, with all this evidence that's pointing to him, he's got so many motives as well. With the texts, the last person to see her, it's unbelievable that they never came and talked to you.
Yeah, that's mind blowing.
Yeah.
My respect it's gone down quite a bit for local law enforcement investigators. That's a shame.
I case gets in the right hands, and I hope that when it does go to court, that it's done right. Just one shot, get it done right, and get him behind bars. I mean, I don't want any screw ups, but it has been a long time, and we're getting frustrated. Well, still frustrated, I should say.
Right. Yeah. I think we're past the frustration point.
Yeah.
But Tina and Todd, if he would like to chime in. I know I got a little emotional there for a second. Yeah, it is hard. But I would like to, because I'm sure you guys have probably a pretty accurate theory on what happened that day there at the Coker residence. And we'll share our theories. I think me and Bobby are on kind of the same theory, and probably Kelly as well, because he does have some like hand-to-hand combat type training or whatever, military training or whatnot. So it'd be easy to take an advantage of a woman, quite easily, not leave DNA around. They didn't find the hyoid bone when they searched, which would determine whether or not, it was a choking, because that bone will break in the event of a strangulation. And that was not recovered at the site. That would be bam right there, which explains why there wasn't, quote unquote, any DNA. Actually, I think Abney said that there was some DNA, they just couldn't speak on it. So
my stepdad was in the Marines, and he was a black belt, and he would always show me different things you could do to people to hurt them, to kill them in one fucking swoop.
Mm-hmm.
He had that kind of knowledge.
Yeah,
that's the kind of knowledge he had.
Yeah.
And just to touch on what you said, Shelly, it makes me sick to my stomach to hear that he wouldn't let her take anything from the house. And I know last time we spoke to you, you touched on the fact that before they even found her remains, so it wasn't confirmed that she had passed by that point, that he was selling her things, her items from the home. So it's not like he wanted these things anyway. So it's just literally to be a spiteful person.
Just a control.
Yeah.
He just controlled her, and and I think
she had a nefarious lifestyle and dealt with nefarious people. He was the most nefarious person she ever dealt with. I mean, I don't know.
Well, you could tell he's an objectifier, man. He was into the swinging stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, at the beginning, Cheryl, I mean, like I said, she didn't do it with her hands tied behind her back. I mean, she cooperated and did it. I mean, it was, I don't know if it was like one of the I don't know, last try, because he had cheated on her, like around 2006. And, she found a burner phone in the trunk of his car. And then he said he would change. And then a few years later, she found some things on their computer. And she was wanting to leave them then. And then they decided to work things out yet again. Because like I said, their marriage is always working on a marriage. And then he started looking up swingers things. And so they would go to the swingers clubs in Dayton. And then they started to get to know people. And then that's how that all came about.
But he also expressed earlier, only a few years into marriage, that he wanted to watch her have sex with another man. I mean, what kind of same person wants to watch their person?
I've known Cheryl since I was 10 years old. Cheryl never, ever struck me as a person who was ever like that. I've hung out with her so many times. I've never seen her act in that manner. It wasn't until she got with this guy, and all she's trying to do, she's trying to please him. She's had so many, other difficult relationships. She's trying to make this one work. And Bill is manipulating that.
Yeah.
He's manipulating that shit. He sees it. Bill is a maniac and a piece of shit, but he's smart. He's smart because obviously he was smart enough to outsmart, the cops. He's obviously smart. And for him to act like, well, somebody tried to come into the house. Ain't that what it was when they seen the guy walking behind his house?
He acted like it was somebody else.
Well, somebody who's able to pull off a master crime like that wouldn't do something stupid like that, like go back to the house. And he even had the keys to the car were left in the car, right?
Yeah.
Well, what was the guy going to do? Just break in, not use the keys?
All right.
Right.
I mean, all this stuff is so ridiculous. He had to wear a hoodie. He sticks out like a sore thumb. He looks like fucking Opie. People, if somebody see him walking down the street, they say, well, the guy looked like Opie. Well, it had to be Bill. He's the only Opie who lives in this neighborhood.
All right.
I get that when I met him face to face. Would not meet him, but go ahead, Bobby.
Right. You're right. You wouldn't take that chance to come back into that neighborhood after doing that unless you live there.
Right.
It's pretty obvious, I think, I would think everybody, except for apparently investigators. And it bothers me that the last thing that we heard about this whole case is them coming on the news locally and saying, hey, he's our one and only suspect. And then that's it. Nothing else after that.
But
And then,
I know you guys,
once a year, an anniversary, once a year on the day it happened, they'll come on and do a little and that's all you hear, and that's nothing.
It's not enough.
No.
It's not enough, not even close to it. It's ridiculous.
It is.
And I'd like to know when he said it was somebody else, right? They came into his house, he's sleeping, he's right there, why in the hell would somebody go drop Cheryl's car off, come back to the house, and he's there, all his shit doesn't add up. Ridiculous. So I don't understand how they can't
going out there to warm up the car when it's fucking 60 degrees out. That's absurd. There's a reason why he moved out of that fucking house. It's because all of his fucking neighbors thought he was a killer.
Oh yeah.
His one neighbor right next door to him had Cheryl Coker sign, had the Cheryl Strong signs pointed directly at his house. Oh, it pissed him off.
And he had it lit up.
Good.
Had like a light shining right on it. So what kind of a guy goes into the store and rips down the signs that say, help finding Cheryl? What kind of a motherfucker, doesn't care enough about his kid to find out what the fuck happened to their mom? Yeah. What kind of a man does that? What kind of a woman? What kind of a fucking woman wants to stay with a guy who is the main suspect in the fucking murder? There's only two kinds of fucking people. Either you're such a fucking loser dope that you just need this guy, or you're in on it, or both.
Yeah.
That's it.
He's both.
Both.
Yeah.
She knows damn good and well what the fuck went down.
Right on.
Yep.
Fucking Mr.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right on.
And like one of the points I was wanting to make is that you know, Bill saying that he was home during that time, and then he thought, well, maybe somebody else came back, you know, after they dropped their car off. And so, and I talked to Bill's sister, Christy, like not long after Cheryl went missing. And she told me the same thing, that, well, maybe somebody else came back. And I said, well, did Bill change the code on the lock? Because on their front door, it was a keyless lock. It was just, you just type in the code.
All right.
And she's like, no. And I said, well, if he thinks somebody else came back to the house, Michaela is home by herself while he's at work. Don't you think he should?
Right.
She's like, well, yeah, I guess. And he didn't even think, you know, there was no other person that came back to the house.
But
And-
why would somebody come back to the house? Why would anybody?
Right.
And what did they know Bill was there or not? Like, I mean, it's just sounds
That,
so
and you said you
stupid.
were there the whole time. Were
I
you
know.
sleeping in your basement when someone walked back through your front door or through your back door? That's
All right.
Right.
the craziest shit I've ever heard.
Well, then here's the
I
thing.
mean,
It seems like, right? Let's just go off what Bill says. So what this guy comes in and he kills her. So he drops Cheryl's car off. Well, I'm guessing Cheryl's still in the house, dead, right? Bill's still asleep. So this guy's like, oh, I got plenty of time. You know, I'm sure Bill won't wake up. I'll go back and go get her.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, yeah, he never slept. I can pretty much guarantee you that he was not sleeping downstairs, or what he had said,
He
because
never did.
it was so bad. Cheryl slept on the couch. He slept in the bedroom. I mean, he even told me, like, there would be times where he would come in the living room and say, Cheryl, why don't you come to bed? And she would refuse. She was not going to sleep in the same bed with him anymore.
And that's where I think Michaela might have some of the information about that.
Could you imagine the fucking number he's doing on Michaela? Oh my
Oh my.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's why I don't understand why investigators aren't doing more to protect her also. That's scary that she's still living in the house with him, and the way he manipulated Cheryl, what he could be doing to this child who's already broken from losing her mom, and probably knowing well that her dad did it. She's probably terrified to speak up. And I'm not trying, I know she's out there, I'm not trying to endanger her, upset her by any means, but that scares me for the sake of that child. Like, that is terrifying to me.
Well, I mean, and I know, because like on social media, I don't like, her profile pictures are of her, Bill, and Aaron. There's
wow
about her mom.
Wow.
It's wild how her loyalties have went to evil, from good to evil. You know, I mean, she has been so brain fucked, and I'm here to tell you, I don't know many mothers like Cheryl. Cheryl was one of the best moms I ever fucking knew, and that ain't no shit. Mm-hmm. She doted on her kids. She did for her kids. She fucking took care of her kids, and for her kids to treat her that fucking way, that is fucked.
All right.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
But I'm sure he's working the same number on her that he works on everybody with.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
He wants to ruin her to where he wants to ruin her to where even when she gets older, she'll still question this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's setting her up for a lifetime of mental fucking depression.
Mm-hmm.
But he don't care because he's the victim here, Robert. He's the victim.
Well, right. Yeah. As a narcissist, he's the victim, and his, a narcissist's biggest weapon is manipulation, gaslighting.
I mean, Aaron moved in like a month or so after Cheryl went missing. And for Christmas, they doted that they both got Michaela a car for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
After her mom goes missing, Michaela's dad and girlfriend that had moved in bought her a car, and she wasn't even 16 yet.
He's already started the process. He's starting the process.
They knew.
Yeah.
Can we also touch on, because I know in your news, and I think we talked about it a little bit last time, I know you guys mentioned thinking that Aaron is involved to a certain extent, and everything that I've listened to, I truly feel the same way. But one of the things that I thought about, and it's funny you touched on it in some of the notes that you sent to us, was the fact that they're saying that they went to lunch together from 11:30 to 12:30. And from what I understand, now I'm not familiar with the area because I'm not local, but from what I understand, the spot where her remains were found was about 15 minutes from where she lived. Plenty of time for them to get together and get rid of the evidence.
Yeah, and then
sorry, go ahead.
That area, that's on the way to Bill's sister's house.
Oh.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that either. Okay.
Yeah,
I just that time frame of lunchtime just seems very convenient for them to go to lunch during that period of time. And just her interviews, the way that she interacts, like Todd was saying, being a mom of four, I can't imagine being with someone who is suspected of the murder of a mother. You know, I can't imagine at all. That's unfathomable to me. And so that period of time seems awfully convenient for me on the day that she disappeared, that you guys went out to lunch, you know, after her Fitbit stopped working, and 15 minutes from the house is where she was found. So it just seems like an awfully convenient time frame to go to lunch.
They had just spent all weekend together at a Florida trip, or
they're working on.
Want to wake up the next morning and go have lunch together when he just saw you that night before.
Yeah,
right.
Come on.
Right, but the thing is also when she said about that text, it was the end of August, I'm pretty positive. And Cheryl didn't send that shit. No. So they were planning on this a little bit before that, you know.
Yeah.
They had to, because and then Aaron said they didn't discuss the text. Okay, so we get a text like that, we're going to discuss it. Like, what's wrong? Like that. And Cheryl would not have sent that.
Cheryl hated that bitch.
She hated her. I talked to her. She said that. And this was the end of June, or I think it was the last week of June, first week of July, something like that, when I talked to Cheryl. And she was telling me, you know, that conversation sticks out to me so much, because even with Cheryl getting beat up by her first husband, she never had this fear that like she had that day when I talked to her. Like I really felt like then she knew she was losing him, like her marriage was done, and she didn't want that, you know. But she expressed that she did not like her. I knew it. So there's no way that she's going to be texting her at the end of August, you know, concerned that she'd still be with Bill. Give me a freaking break.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the text that we're talking about is the one that was on a Tuesday, supposedly from Cheryl to Aaron, saying, if something was to happen to me, would you still want a relationship with Bill, or something like that? And I 100% don't believe it was from Cheryl, because of that Tuesday and Wednesday mornings before we had to go to work, her and I would have coffee talk in the morning. And so it would be 8 o'clock her time, 7 o'clock my time. She would get in the shower around 8 o'clock. I think that text was sent out a little after 8. And plus, Bill is home at that time he was off on Tuesdays, and it was sent on a Tuesday. So I believe he probably sent it to Aaron, and like I said, I just don't. And then here Aaron wants to act like that they were friends, but yet she says she never discussed the text to Bill or with Cheryl. Because
that's what pisses me off so bad. You know such intricate details of her life, and you communicated so much that you even know what time she took a shower, what days he was working. Why wouldn't investigators speak to you about that? That detail that you just gave is something that should be a huge detail to help convict him. That, like, I mean, or even just substantial, you know, circumstantial evidence to put out there towards the case. I mean, I can't imagine. You guys obviously were very close. You guys know so much about, like I said, the smallest details of her life. And it's amazing that you guys can recall all of that, you know, to keep this memory alive and to keep her out there. But I can't wrap my head around why they're not asking you questions like that.
I've never talked to him. I had to
That is so crazy.
the first couple days when I wanted to give him some information to help. I had to call one of the cops that we went to school with, be like, look, I can't get a hold of him.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
That
why?
just doesn't make sense.
I just wish, they would talk. And I have talked to a detective, a couple times. He has called and has asked me, questions here and there. But as I don't know, like maybe they have other kind of evidence that they want to focus on. I don't know. But, like I said, I called them and to let them know, hey, I'm willing to talk, or if you have any questions, please contact me. And it took a couple weeks, but they did contact me after she went missing.
It's off a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, are you familiar with whatever evidence they're saying they found in the house that would have ruled a homicide before her body was found? Because we were under the impression that might have been the Fitbit, because the Fitbit evidence was so overwhelming, in my opinion, which I can't imagine why that's not a bigger deal to detectives either. But now I know in the recent notes that you said, it said that the Fitbit, you had heard from someone the Fitbit was found in the car. So is that, I don't know if I read that correctly, so I just want to make sure. So was the Fitbit found in the car then as well?
Her Fitbit.
Okay.
Her Fitbit and phone and her work bag was
okay.
all it was all in
So
there.
are you familiar with what they found in the house that would have caused them, or what led them to the belief that it was a homicide prior to finding her?
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they've released that. The last I watched a little interview with I think it's Abney and the other guy, I can't pronounce his name, starts with an S. And yeah, they were saying they wouldn't comment on anything, whether or not they had DNA, what kind of evidence that they did have that did turn this from a missing persons to a homicide, and had them all thinking. And then you hear them say, we pretty much don't believe a word that this fucking guy is telling us.
Yeah.
We don't believe a word. His story has changed so much. So I'm thinking, okay, yeah, we kind of don't either. So what's the problem? Okay, how much more evidence do you need? Why has this gone to the grand jury? I've seen some things floating around different groups saying it had been to the grand jury 3 times and denied for lack of evidence. And then I'm hearing that it hasn't been to the grand jury. Do you guys know for sure? Has it?
I have not heard anything about a grand jury.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I haven't.
Tina,
I'm just confused how much more fucking evidence you need in order to do that.
Yeah.
Like,
You not.
I know. Like I said, you want it done right, but what the hell is everybody waiting on?
All right.
Well, I mean, if let's say they bring him to court, and for some reason or another he's found not guilty, then we're just back to square one. At least get him behind bars, hold him, take away, if you're the main suspect, the one and only suspect, since this happened, since day fucking one, the cops, the detectives haven't looked anywhere else other than you. And
how are you
can't
walking?
how are you still able to go out and have the freedoms that we do, the same as somebody who is not suspected of murdering their wife or soon to be ex-wife? That should be taken away. You should be held and put into a cage until it's brought, and brought to trial. That would happen to anybody else with less evidence.
Right.
Like you said, look at Richard Allen. He's been sitting in a prison for 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years in a prison, not a jail, in a prison or suspicion of being involved in a murder. So I
And
can't,
they
I
have
cannot wrap
shaky,
my
yeah.
head.
They have shaky evidence on him at best,
Yeah.
and we have video. We have, I mean, we have so much. We have the injuries on his arm, on his hand.
Right.
If that was, part of, the actual crime, I guess we'll never know.
Well, it's the frustration we have with the suspect. I have this same amount of frustration with the girlfriend. I mean, I believe she is involved. I believe she knows exactly what he did. And
she's diabolical.
Yeah. I mean, shame on her. She has 3 daughters.
Yeah.
And you move in with some guy that wife filed for divorce 11 days before she went missing, but yet you still want to move in and introduce your daughters?
Now, Shelly, remember what we was talking about the other night?
What about which one?
I don't know if you want me to say anything about it. You said that it was at the funeral.
Oh.
I don't remember.
I just know Michaela has mentioned that she has lost the 2 people that truly loved her.
What did she say about horse face? What did she say about her?
She didn't say anything about her at the funeral.
Well, she didn't say, I don't know what I would do without her.
No, not at the funeral.
Okay, she's never said that
on social media.
Okay, so she said she don't know what she'd do without, what's her name?
Aaron.
Without Aaron. Okay, this girl has got Stockholm syndrome to a degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She thinks this woman is her friend.
And there's no way in hell that she's not involved if you're moving into the house of a missing woman. She was not, a month later, she was not even found yet. You don't know what's going on. This woman could be walking back through the door tomorrow and you're sleeping in her bed. There's something messed up upstairs about that. There's no way you're normal if you're doing something like that.
No.
Well,
especially being a mom. I can't get that.
Right, and right. That's Todd's point. I'm guessing, right? Yeah, it was the first time he just said this to us, but like it just shows how they're both in on it. You can see it and how Michaela and we're just happy family and stuff.
Buying the car before she even gets a license. I mean, that's manipulation. That's bribery, basically. You're bribing a little, and he's just wanting her to despise Cheryl, I guess, and the fact that you're not wanting to come on situations like this just really shows you do despise her. You really don't give a shit.
Which we know he does, but it's just like you did say on the last podcast about him not talking. Here, I wrote it down. I know. Well, one thing I wrote is like, if he didn't do it, he's a coward for not standing up. That was a good one. True.
Yep, absolutely. I think I said that last time. You are a coward. You should be, regardless of what your relationship status was with that person. She is the mother of your child. She is someone you spent ample amount of years with, and at some point there was love there, or something. There was something there. Okay, you spent a lot of time with this woman, a huge period of time. You are a coward no matter what the relationship status is. If you did not stand up and go search for her, or you are not looking or talking to detectives, taking lie detectors, giving them any information possible, nothing about that makes sense to me. And that absolutely does make you a coward. It makes you guilty or not. You're, like I said before, you are a coward. That is
tons of red flags. For one, not taking the polygraph. Two, when the investigation started, I think he called the detectives. I think they said like once in like 4 months or something like that.
He was sleeping when they came to the house. When the daughter made the phone call, from what I understand, he was sleeping at 12 o'clock. They had to wake him up the night that she is still missing, and you had to be woken up. There's no way in hell, if my spouse is missing, the father of my kids, that I'm sleeping that night. There's no way. I'd have been out spinning the blocks, asking questions. There's no way. It doesn't make sense.
I made no effort ever.
You want to play the game of, okay, what believe that Cheryl's a whore that goes around, sleeps with all the guys, and he so just used to it. You know, that's what he wanted to portray Cheryl.
Yep.
And shame him for saying that stuff, making stuff up about the mother of his child. All because
I'm here
he wanted
to wrong.
Do what?
I'm here to tell her. I'm here. If she hears this, I'm telling her he's fucking a liar. He's a fucking liar and a manipulator. He's lying.
But they said he didn't want to pay the alimony. He did not want to pay the child support. He wanted things his way. So, like I said in the affidavit, where you see Aaron stating that, telling the police that Cheryl was the one that pushed the relationship on her to stay with Bill or to keep Bill company because he's lonely because she goes out with all these men every night. That every time they go to what's that place, Julie? She goes home with a different guy every night.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, Kelly, shame on them. This woman, boys, Cheryl was missing, and you want to portray her as something that she is not, just for those two to be able to live together, live off Cheryl's life insurance and move into this new house, and have, when Michaela was a senior, they had senior pictures taken together, the three of them.
That's weird.
Very weird.
And from what I understand, he was the same way with his other biological children. It sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what it sounds like with these twin boys, it was the mom was taking care of them, and it was like, I'll pop in every once in a while, give them a gift, and I'll pay for the cool stuff, but mom's going to take care of all the stuff I don't feel like dealing with. And it sounds like that's kind of what it is with Michaela. Let me give you this car so you forget what a shitbag I am. Like that's kind of the vibe that I get. It's sickening.
When they first were together, like Shelly, like you'll probably remember too, like she used to have to push Bill to see the kids.
Yes.
Right?
To get the boys. Yeah.
Like,
he didn't get them. She would have him go get the boys and do things. And
because Cheryl's a good person like that. She wants everybody to have healthy, good relationships, and she knew that was healthy for the father and, his kids previous to have a relationship, but he wasn't like that. He only did, any kind of good parenting because of Cheryl.
I think that's the worst part of it. I wish she knew, and obviously I know you guys told her this because it's evident in the way you're standing up for her now. I wish she knew her value before this happened, and I wish she had gotten out prior to this happening, because she, just in the picture, she is gorgeous. I mean, she is literally gorgeous. I love seeing the pictures of her, and I know she deserved that love that she was putting out, and it breaks my heart to know that she didn't have that opportunity and didn't understand her own value, because we can see it and we didn't know her. I can tell you, I'm sure you guys made it very clear to her, because it's clear now how much you guys value her still. And like I said to you before, Shelly, I'll say it to everybody, I know she's proud looking down on you guys. Wherever this next life is, whatever you guys believe in, I know she's very proud of the work you guys are doing, keeping her name out there. This is huge, because I know it's hard for you guys. It's easy to put opinions out there. It's easy to speculate. It's not easy to be in your shoes where you're having to relive this daily, being personally attached to the situation. And I commend you guys a lot for doing that. And I know she's very proud of you for doing it.
It's like Bill walked up into my fucking house and stole one of my irreplaceable fucking most precious possessions.
Yeah, it's pretty much what he did. It is what he did, because we do love her. You could not love her. That's the thing. That's what, it's so insane. And that's why, him acting like it could have just been somebody else. No, because nobody's ever disliked her. Nobody. Even her first husband wants to see justice. They didn't hate each other. It wasn't like that. It was abusive, right? Of course, Mike had issues, but Bill he's taken things to another level, of course.
That speaks volumes that the previous person that she did have issues with at some point is more concerned about justice for her than the person she was with at the time that it happened. That speaks volumes in itself.
Yeah.
Michael did love Cheryl. They dated through school and stuff, you know, when we was kids. You know, it's just you know, he was a drinker and he was a violent guy when he was drinking, and Cheryl was right there to be the punching bag.
And here's the thing. I was nose to nose with Mike one time when he went. So one night we went over and no, I was never exposed to domestic violence until this night. And, you know, he obviously he hit her and he, of course he was drinking and I swear, weren't we taught Mike and I were nose to nose like this and we were cussing each other. He beat the shit out of me, of course. But you know what? First of all, she was 6 months pregnant, but I would,
oh my God,
I would give it my all to fuck him up. And if Bill doesn't think that I won't fucking do that, he's even crazier than he is. Because let me tell you, I fucking love Cheryl and I will fucking do whatever I can to help her and get justice for her. Fuck Bill. Fuck you, Bill. If you see this, I fucking hate you.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I said, we're all
Right on.
like to see the affidavit and to, you know, like you were saying, Kelly, earlier, like to relive this stuff and just for them to be pointing fingers at Cheryl and just portray her in something that she's not. I mean, what makes me happy is that everybody knows that he's guilty.
Mm.
Everybody knows that he is guilty, that he is a murderer. And everybody,
but he needs to pay for it. He needs to pay for it at this point. We all know it, and he needs to deal with it. He needs to pay for what he's done.
Yes, exactly.
The most beautiful people on the planet. He fucking needs to rot. He really does.
Yeah. You know, I came across something I thought was odd. You know, there's a there's something they called, I guess, in the world of psychology called projection, where you project your own faults or whatnot onto somebody else as a means to protect, because everything that he said about Cheryl, that she was into some weird stuff, some you know things going on there at the end, and she probably ran off with another guy. Hold on, wait a minute. That's the same fucking thing that you were doing, right, Bill? You were into some shady shit, and you were you know running off with somebody, and you know, so that to me stuck out. It was like, that's projection. And that usually you know means you're lying, buddy.
That's narcissism at its best. It's
absolutely.
She was right for posting that stuff. She knew, she hit the nail on the head. She knew ahead of time.
Projection is one of the symptoms of narcissism. Yeah.
Yep, it sure is. Yeah.
Projection, deflect. You know, there's quite a few more. You know.
Yes.
He deflects and he projects. You know?
And I know, Kurt, before you had asked, and I know it's a lot because it's a lot for you guys to talk about. It's a lot to process. I know he had asked if you guys, and if you don't want to, it's totally fine, but if you don't mind giving us your opinion on what you think like took place during that period of time that she was missing. So what happened the day she went missing, leading up to that, what you think your opinions are of how things went down. If you don't feel comfortable talking about it, please don't. We totally understand, but I know Kurt had asked that earlier, and I was curious myself to see the opinion. I think we understand what the opinion is, but of course we want to give you your platform to say that.
I think
others are.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think the about, you know, I don't know who had said, maybe Michaela, I don't know, or Bill, or somehow maybe Cheryl found out that Aaron had gone on the trip with them, and I think that her and Bill got into an argument, and you know, and Cheryl could be, you know, and she might have said some things that, you know, was the truth that Bill needed to hear, and Bill probably didn't want to hear it. And I think I, in my opinion, I believe that he choked her. And then I think when the whole time frame of him and Aaron going to lunch is when he disposed of Cheryl's body. And then, you know, it says that he was out seen, I think like around 1 o'clock doing yard work. Mm-hmm. Wanted to be seen. You know, and again at that night when he went to Kroger's, he wanted to make sure her car was there. You know, it just things like that. That's just what I think. And because he had taken Michaela to go get physical therapy, so he was seen throughout that day. But I think when they went to lunch is when he disposed of her remains, her body.
That's kind of I think we were all on the same page with that too. And if she's a spitfire the way you guys are, I can totally see her voicing her opinion, and rightfully so.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's unfortunate the other end of that, but you know, I'm glad she was the type to stand up for herself, because it sounded like she had a good group of friends that was the same way. It's just sad to me that someone couldn't handle the truth.
All right.
Right. No, he could.
Oh, we lost you.
Did you say that he was telling her she couldn't have this out of the house and have that out of the house and have that out of the house?
Yeah, he couldn't have
Right.
Did you say that? And Cheryl was just like, okay, I don't want no fight.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
To deal with him anymore. Just wanted to be.
Okay, listen. Now, when she discovered what she discovered about Bill, his dark side, his, you know, that changed. That changed like that. And she said, I'm spilling. And he said, you fucking are not. And that's what happened.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. 100%. A narcissist will protect their ego all the way.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then, yeah. So, yeah, I
got your number, Bill. I got your fucking number.
Yeah. We had the one thing I was wanting to say was Bill came home one day and told Cheryl, said, hey, if I talked to my lawyer, and he said I told him if I'll stop seeing Aaron. So if I stop seeing Aaron, will you let your lawyer know to go ahead and drop the divorce? And I'll tell my lawyer as well. And that's the whole thing when it came up that, you know, they might maybe try to work things out. And he swore up and down he was going to stop seeing Aaron. And Cheryl said that, you know, he went ahead and got in the shower, and she said not even an hour after he swore up and down that him and Aaron was going to stop seeing each other, that him and I would probably try to work on things. That in between that time, she looked at his Apple Watch that was on the dresser in their bedroom. So I said he was in the shower. Cheryl's checking his Apple Watch. So within that time, she saw a text from Bill to Aaron saying, I can't wait to spend the rest of our lives together. And yeah. So then after Cheryl went missing, you know, when I was talking to Christy, Bill's sister, I said something about Bill's lawyer. And she's like, what lawyer? He doesn't even have a lawyer. And I said, well, he was telling Cheryl if she dropped the divorce charges that he would talk to his lawyer. And she's like, Shelly, he doesn't have a lawyer. So well, that told Cheryl. So there's multiple lies, and I would love to know what his family thinks about all this. How can they take up for him? How can they convince me that he is innocent?
And you know,
why aren't they? Why aren't they speaking up?
Exactly. Yeah, he lied straight on the phone to whatever reporter that was for the news, that I guess they say it's like one of the only interviews that, you know, they have available of him actually talking to somebody. And he actually comes out, I have never hurt anyone in my life. I guess he just forgot about putting his ex into the hospital. I guess he had thought about or forgot about leaving bruises on Cheryl. You know, just straight lie. It's like, I mean, he completely forgot. I don't know. I mean, this guy's got some balls, but you know, Yeah, I think we all got Bill's number, Todd. I think we've all, you know, I don't know how this has not gotten to the grand jury. I don't know what the state and the prosecution is waiting for. They're not going to get a confession. All right, he's going to deny it. I mean, so what could they possibly be waiting for? I'm sorry, Tina, go ahead.
Well, he'll just sit there and be like, "Boo hoo, poor me. I'm a victim," because that's what he does.
Out to get me.
He acts like everybody's out to get him. You know.
We are out to get you.
Yeah,
like,
Fuck yeah, we are.
You deserve it.
Yeah.
He does. That's why I said I will fight for her. I have fought for her in the past. You know, when she had to go through difficult, I'll fight for her until I'm not here, because I love her and she deserves it.
We're coming to get you,
to have you guys. She's lucky to have you guys as friends.
All right, on, for sure.
Lucky
You
to
know what do you guys think, Tina, Shelley, Todd, whoever wants to go first? What do you think you know, could be our, and when I say our, I mean maybe, you know, the community as a whole, because it's pretty unnerving to have somebody out there who is the, you know, the police's only suspect, out there living his best life, and possibly just waiting for, you know, his next opportunity, his next victim. Who knows what, you know, Aaron could be in danger as much as she, you know, could have been, you know, was I guess antagonizing this, involved in some way, shape, or form. You know, she's possibly I mean, what do you think is, you know, the community, you know, can do? What, I mean, do we have to march on the front step of the, you know, the police station? I mean, because I'll do it. I'll bullhorn. I've done it before.
Well,
I just I went to the dentist the other day, and I happened to the girl who was cleaning my teeth. What her cousin was murdered 20 years ago, but she said Matt Heck is pretty worthless. She said, and I've heard this. I heard that he won't take a case unless it's an easy case and it looks good for him. And yeah.
And think about this too. You know, you say, you know, the concern, the community concern. Okay. Well, there was only about an average of about 60 people at her when we went to look for her, you know, the searches. So it didn't seem like as many people were concerned that I felt like should have been concerned about it. You know, I thought it was pretty.
No, I agree.
Because it's just a matter of fact, I thought I'd see a bunch of people from freaking school and shit. And I seen 2 people from my school. You know,
that is crazy.
It just it made me fucking sick. You know, it's like, where the fuck are all Cheryl's fucking friends? What are they doing? Fucking watching reality TV? You know.
Well, the thing is also, Phil was not there.
And he's done nothing, like nothing.
That eats me alive knowing that.
Hey, 15 of those people were from out of town, didn't even know Cheryl. Just knew the kid.
Wow.
And those were the people with the Texas EquiSearch, and they were awesome.
No, not the Texas EquiSearch. The other people who just came from out of town.
Yeah, but they were with them, I thought.
I don't know. They were just average people that were concerned about it, knew the case, and wanted to fucking help find Cheryl.
But you know, it's just like you see things on the news and there's like hundreds of people.
Yeah.
So I guess we were just shocked that there wasn't all these hundreds of people, you know.
Yeah.
I really thought there was going to be a lot of people from school,
You know,
of course. Nobody did anything.
I've told you all about Cheryl. You would think that there would have been hundreds of people, but no.
It's sort of just people just don't want to do about anything. And that's sad. And we're obviously we're seeing it with.
That's why we're doing this now, because it's like we got to do the work of people who are supposed to do this, you know.
Absolutely.
All right.
I greatly appreciate what you guys are doing.
Yeah, I'm good.
Well, you know, I mean, we you know, greatly appreciate you guys coming on, because I know how hard it is. I know, you know, the emotions go through the roof, the feelings go through the roof, and it's hard. And it's like, okay, but it's like you only have 2 choices. All right, just forget it happened and just wait for something to happen at their leisure, or have to rehash these things and break down sometimes and relive these painful, good memories, because now the good memories can be painful at times too. As much as they'll bring a smile to your face, they'll start the fucking waterworks, and these are things that, you guys are so strong in facing this and talking, about this case and keeping it out there. There's, I thought there'd be maybe more, podcasters and whatnot, covering it. The channel, the YouTube channel, that channel, it's called. They did. He did one on Cheryl, which was, I think, done really well. He does a good show. Of course, you guys were on Gray Hughes a while back. But there's not a whole lot of people, and I don't know if I guess honored to be, I guess, at on the front lines. Pretty much, it's right in our backyard. I'm right up the street from Riverside. I used to go to that dispensary up there, but
no, I tell Tina, and I told Shelly this, and Tina disagrees with me, but I think the people who don't really know, since they only know certain circumstances of the case, I think they want to hold this fucking moral cloud over her that she doesn't deserve.
All right.
Yeah. And that's why we're glad that we have people as close and as intimate with her that can share the details of who she truly is, because I think that's exactly what deserves to be put out there. And yes, we need to focus on the case itself so that we can get her justice. But I think it's just as important to keep her name clear and free and people to see what a beautiful person she is. And that's why we're so thankful for all the pictures you set and the videos. And hopefully we can go out showing some of those tonight, because they were touching. They were amazing to see. And that's one of the biggest things, is having people like you crushing people like Bill that are saying shit that doesn't make sense. And you can tell from just the stuff we've heard from you guys, it's very genuine. And you can just tell she was not that type of person. And we're thankful to have people like you putting that out there to dispute the shit he's saying, because I don't feel like he even deserves a voice at this point.
Yeah. Or he just deserves to rot in prison.
But I mean, what no.
Oh, I think we lost her.
No, you're breaking up, Shelly.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
No, I think like nobody's trained in when something like this happens. I don't know what the right thing to do is. I know what I would love to do, but what would be the right thing to do? And how can we get her justice? How can we move forward to where we can finally put a murderer that's walking free behind bars?
I think personally, it seems like we have everybody has done the right thing, it seems like, except for we've hit a roadblock with a prosecutor who's lazy. And that's what it seems like to me. I think just some circumstances make the case anyway. But there's enough circumstantial evidence of just what I've seen to get a conviction. And I don't know why they're not taking it in front of a grand jury and just going ahead and try to get a conviction out of it, see where it goes. Because not doing nothing is just going to lead to him going off and living his best life. So.
Or
well,
yeah, what happens when he gets tired of Aaron? I guess she'll be the next one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't the two of them worry about turning on each other?
That's kind of my thought. Yeah.
How can you live like that? How can you? That's like diabolical. That's like basic instinct shit. I don't know. You don't see it around here. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. It's nuts. Well, Kelly, you had mentioned, I do have a couple of short little videos that Tina, you had sent me that gives a little insight into the goofiness, the character, the personality of Cheryl. Check this out.
I just love that video so much.
Yeah, that gives you a little insight. You know, you can just see the bubbliness, the fun. We're gonna have fun. Let's have fun at all costs. Nothing's gonna bring us down tonight. And then this kind of looks like it was this other video of her on the phone. Was this the same day? It kind of looks like maybe the same outfit.
Yeah, yes, it was. It was.
Okay, here's this one. This one's pretty fun. And I have a hard time hearing exactly what she says on the phone. So tell me after the video.
We'll be home by 2:15, 2:20. If you're not over by my house, I gotta go and get Marissa and go get some food from Dell. So, if anything, I'll be home at least by 2:33. Bye. Did you get that? So you can't say I didn't leave a message.
What was she saying there? I mean, can you give us a little backstory on that, because it looked like she was kind of messing with somebody there.
Well, it was somebody, I don't remember who she was dating. This was before Bill, of course, and she was just leaving a message, and that's why she was laughing at the end. She was like, "Did you get that, Todd?" Like, because since he was recording it, and say that way he can't say he didn't get a message.
There you go. Okay, video evidence. See, all right, I love it. I love it.
I am very thankful. We just happened to get that new camera, and I didn't even know I had that, and I was just going through all this stuff and found it, and I'm so thankful because I fully remember that day because we were in our 20s, and I'm very thankful. So thankful.
That's awesome. I would, as you know, I mentioned, when the weather breaks, I don't see any harm in hitting the area where her remains were found again.
Try to do everything you can.
I don't see any harm in putting new eyes on that area again. Why we're only a limited and a partial amount of I think the skull and a few other bones. Of course, animals could have taken some of them away. It would I don't see the damage in going out there and looking again. If we don't find anything, okay, whatever. It doesn't, I mean, at least we tried. We also have her birthday coming up in April. So, I think, with the weather breaking, I like to get boots on the ground. I'm that kind of guy. I'm a stand on the corner with a bullhorn and a sign kind of guy. I've done it at Times Square. I'll do it in Huber Heights. This, I ain't no shame in my game. And, these are the kind of things, I guess, that, is what it's going to take to re-inject this case back into the community's, mind and get them thinking about this again. You guys forget there's a guy who's been convicted. We can tell you his name because he's the cops' only one and only suspect. Do you realize he's just, driving around either in Centerville or wherever, just willy-nilly? I mean, that doesn't bother anybody. It sure as hell bothers me, especially when I have a grandson that lives right up the street. My daughter, obviously, right up the street. I have family around here. Not saying this is a serial killer, if you will, but he has a very dangerous, background. He doesn't have a very
you can get
good
away with it
track
once.
record.
It makes you question if you can do it again, and we've
Absolutely.
seen that several times
and
in other cases.
That's why his ass needs to be in an 8x10 cell and sit there and think about what you've done. He needs a really long time out because Billy Boy has been a bad boy.
He's trying to change his identity. He only won't be. They call him Will at fucking work.
That's what his name tag said when I ran into him. They're like, "Are you sure that's him?" I was like, "I'd recognize that mug anywhere." Yeah, that's absolutely him.
Oh, I got people from work that go in there and they give him shit when when that COVID stuff was going on. He tried to direct people and they'd be like, "Fuck you." They knew who he was, off of him.
Nobody likes him. And then that was one of the things too. Like I had written down, like when he said that Cheryl repulsed him. You know what?
God.
What
and
the fuck?
that bitch you're with now don't repulse you. God.
Yeah, look at the ugly bitch she's with now. I mean, she's a fucking hideous looking bitch. She does look like a fucking horse. I mean, it's obvious I don't like her, but she is a hideous looking bitch. Even if I,
Yes.
you know,
Hey, don't hold back, Tina, by all means.
Please don't. Keep it coming.
I don't really hold back too much. It's just I try for, I try, for many reasons, but no, I can't stand that bitch. And Todd said, don't hold back. But the thing is how can he say that about her, but look at that fucking ugly ass?
Yeah.
And then also look back, he could look back at his own fucking hideous looking pictures, even when he was a chunky fuck. He's ugly. He's always been ugly. And that's why he was lucky Cheryl wanted to go out with him.
And that's the whole thing with Bill. That's where it all stemmed from, his childhood. He was this picked on little fucking Opie Malachi motherfucker. The fucking and then he became, well, I'm gonna go to the Marines because then nobody will fuck with me. Then I'm gonna learn karate, then nobody will touch me.
I'm a victim.
That's his deal. That's his deal. I know who he is.
Right on.
Fuck Aaron. Fuck both them.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, I just love you guys.
Have issues now. I have, and I didn't before this, but
Bill's a scared little boy. That's all he is.
That is the problem. He is a scared little boy, and that's where it's many things.
You can see it in his eyes, man. I could see the stress of being named the one and only suspect in the murder of Cheryl. I could see that. It's almost like you could see the wheels turning, like, how do you live your life? Do you realize how many people know about this case? Whether or not they give a shit is a completely different thing. Right. But the fact that they know about it, they've probably seen his face, know that he works there, and he's got to look at everybody like, all right, does this person know that, I murdered my wife? Does this person know? I mean, that's got to put a lot of stress, and it looks like it's wearing on him.
I hope that when he's at work, which is a crazy place for him to work, a busy place, and I hope to God he goes to work every day, and I hope that bitch of his girlfriend is there because she's a cashier there. I hope everybody that comes through her line, I hope she thinks, oh my God, do they know who I am? Do they know that I'm with somebody that is a suspect in his wife's murder? Do they know that I moved in a month after his wife went missing?
They do now, bitch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do they know
that attests to their character too? Like you're so bold about it that you're staying in the same area too. You're interacting with the same people that know this about you. Like, what kind of people are you? Like, it's it's gross.
I mean, I don't know if I wouldn't call them brave. I would probably say more stupid.
Bold.
Stupid,
I
yeah.
said bold. Sorry. If it
Stupid,
sounded like brave, I said bold. Yeah, no, it's just a bold move to stay in an area like that when people suspect you of those things. Definitely not brave. I wouldn't call them that. So if it sounded that way, I apologize. No, just bold and
both have no conscience, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's evident.
Fully, but I mean, she sounds like it too. I mean, they really are. To me, it seems like
there's no way
two peas in a pod.
There's no way.
They're both sick and twisted. They really are, because she knows what happened. She was involved in it. They had this plan. Yeah, she's a sick fucking bitch too.
Yeah.
Because none
it.
of us girls would be with somebody like that. We just want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true. Yeah, somebody's got to call them out. Somebody's got to be the voice for Cheryl. We can all do that.
Yep,
absolutely.
Todd and I are willing to do whatever. We'll again, like I didn't mean to break down a couple times, but this is very hard for me.
No, that's okay.
No worries at all.
Feelings that you just don't want to deal with, of course. But I'll do whatever for her. I really will.
And that shows how much you value her. Those emotions are genuine, and that's how people should react. That's how normal people would react losing someone like that. And that's how the other side of that story is not normal. There's something wrong, because those are genuine feelings that you're showing, and we appreciate that you're willing to do that. I mean, that's huge. That's strong. It's courageous. I mean, it's amazing that you guys are willing to get on and show those vulnerabilities. You know, I think it's amazing that you would do that for your friend. You should be very proud of yourselves. Honestly, it's awesome that you guys stand up for her the way you do, and you're genuine about it.
Thank you. But and that's also what you just saying that, listening to it, that's also what Bill should have done, and that proves many things.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but I am grateful. Like, all the years that I knew Cheryl, she'd always be like, you would love my girlfriend Tina. My girlfriend Tina, she's so funny. She's so funny. You would just love Tina. And and so after Cheryl went missing, I would see Tina comment on some things on social media, and then finally, I think we messaged each other, and then we finally started talking. And I don't know what I would do without Tina through all of this. I mean, her and I have, I think, kind of, I don't know, leaned on each other's shoulders and just vented and yelled and cussed and, just everything just to help. I know Tina's helped me out. And I really love for me to have met Tina before, all of this had happened.
Yeah, I didn't realize you guys didn't know each other previously. Man, you guys would have been such a fun crowd to hang out with. That's like every time I hear you guys talk, I'm like, they're my kind of people.
I want to go back in time so bad. I've thought about this so much. It makes me sick to my stomach that we didn't get to, like it just would have been great. But, I thank the Lord for Shelly, because she's my calm, and I've learned through my new friendship with her. I thank you, Shelly, so much that I know why Cheryl was so, like, how do I word it? Like, just wanted Shelly to be her best friend too, right? Like, because Shelly just has good vibes and she's calming, and and
hey, Tina, you're a rock star. Yeah. I said,
but I'm not calm, right? Like, I wish I had that calm. So, like, that's also why I wanted Shelly to be on here with me, because she is my calm, because I am very crushed. I remember when this all first happened, and I was a fucking hot mess. I just remember sitting on my living room floor. I couldn't believe this was happening. Like, how do you live knowing one of your best friends has been murdered? Like, it is so disturbing.
It is.
And I didn't enjoy anything probably for 6 months of my life, after all this, because I was in awe, and I mean, seriously, like, Todd would be out doing stuff. I'm sitting here on my freaking living room floor crying and crying, so.
That's another reason why I get so worked up about
it. But yeah, I couldn't do this without Shelly. I love Shelly, and I'm very thankful.
So me too.
Yeah, y'all are fantastic. I could tell.
Yeah.
Good people.
I knew Cheryl longer than Tina, but Tina was better friends with her than I was. I mean, we were all good friends, but Tina was more. She's a girl, so she was more
the
involved with her.
Right. Todd was just
Todd,
the
the way you're reacting, Todd, is exactly how a true loving husband would react. So seeing her hurt, you don't want her to hurt, and that's what I wish Cheryl would have had. And I'm glad that she has people like you reminding her now on the other side, even still, that she has so much value, and she is loved that way. The way that Todd is loving you and doesn't want you to hurt, she is loved by people that way. Even if this asshole was not the one that loved her that way, she has people that value her and love her that way still.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And to yell that she needs justice. Like I said, I don't know what to do or what to say, and to plead more, that we need justice for Cheryl.
Yep. And if there's anything you guys think of that we can do to help get the word out, or if there's anything, my spouse and I are planning to visit out there where you guys are. I believe in March we were planning for. So if there's anything we can do in person to help, if there's any contacts that we can reach out to, or any platforms that we can use for you, please let us know. If you guys have ideas, we are more than willing to help in any way that we can to get the word out there and to get justice for her, because you guys deserve it. She deserves it, and so do you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, Lisa, I just know, like, the Ohio BCI is on the case, and Riverside Police Department they're on the case. and I believe Greene County is as well,
Yeah.
where I found her
Okay.
remains. But other than that, I don't know what else.
I think maybe the first thing to start with is start blowing their phones up and let's start calling. Let's start seeing what's going on. I want to request all of the paperwork that they have, which very well could be public record. I don't know what we can and can't get our hands on, but if we have to play armchair detective, well, hey, we'll do that. I want to get my eyes on every piece of documents, everything that may be filed, and get new eyes on it. No, none of us. We're just everyday Joes and Janes here. But I think if we can get some new eyes on some things, something may pop out, to one of us or to anybody that says, "Hey, wait a minute. I don't remember this being talked about. Why is this not being talked about?" And it may seem like a big deal. And, it's something where it's going to be really hard getting going. But once it gets going, it's going to have a snowball effect, I believe. I really have a lot of faith in that I'm going to drum up support around. I mentioned, getting flyers made, anything, just something who's Cheryl Coker? Oh yeah, I remember that. They still haven't caught that guy, blah, 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 whatever. At least it gets it back into, circulation of people's chatting about it. Oh, I seen this flyer the other day, and it starts small, but I really believe that, with some bullhorning, I'm in the market for a new bullhorn anyway. So, with some bullhorning and some just getting out there,
now I can't hear.
whether it be flyers, whether it be all the phone calls, making phone calls, it doesn't matter. I have to start somewhere, and of course, we're willing to
And public opinion makes a huge difference, and that's something we've seen in other cases that we've covered, like the Delphi case. When public opinion is there and is out there for the world to see, and I think maybe that's what we need to do. We need to really publicize this and get it out to more people.
I can't hear anybody. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Oh, we can hear you.
I can hear you. They can hear us. Well, that's all right. Just hang tight, Tina, because unfortunately I have to kind of bring this to a close, unfortunately, because I could sit and talk with you guys forever, but I do have another podcast that I'm doing. If anybody likes horror movies,
Yes.
But I told Tina, I don't know if I told her in her personal chat or in the group chat, that we will definitely have to set up a time. Can you hear us now?
I can now.
Oh, okay.
Good.
All right. No, I was just letting them know that unfortunately I'll have to, take and wrap this up. But as I mentioned to you, Tina, I would love to, get us all back together on here. We can chat. I could chat forever. Hell, you guys aren't that far from me, I don't think. We'll have to meet up for some coffee sometime. I quit drinking, so my partying days are over.
We don't drink.
Oh gosh, I would love to meet up if we could do that when I come in town too. If you guys have any free time, that would be amazing. I would love
just let us know when. We'll get together. Yeah.
Yeah, and Shelly, I would love to hook up with you, but you're not so much in driving distance. I mean, you are if you have the time, but I don't have that kind of time.
Sorry. Well, if you're ever in Kansas, call me.
Hey, I've seen that movie. I ain't going to Kansas.
But yeah, yeah, we'd like to. And Todd and I, we are down with anything that can help, Cheryl. Anything.
Well, we're gonna brainstorm. If you guys think of anything, we'll be in contact. Of course, we have a little group chat where if you guys come up with any ideas or whatnot, and hey, we'll do whatever we can. I mean, it's going to start small. It's going to seem like it's not effective, but I think that's where persistence comes in. And what are these flyers all over the place? Yeah, well, hey, throw it away because you're going to see more.
Right.
We're going to get it back into the consciousness of the community, because our local media isn't doing it. The prosecutors are dragging their feet. And meanwhile, we got a guy who's walking around thinking he's getting away with murder. And we're not going to let that happen. Bottom line, I don't see how anybody around here can feel comfortable or out. I know he moved from the house. I don't know if he's out there more towards his work or not, but
he's in Kettering.
He's in Kettering. Yeah. So I mean, hey, maybe that should be the first spot we hit. Hey, Kettering, do you know about this guy?
Actually, it should be up there and stuff if we could. That would be great because that would irritate the piss out of him. And you know what? When they kept putting Cheryl's flyer up at Kroger's and he came in there, he would tear it down. He would tear it down.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
And his little sign that you sent for when they were selling their house, new experiences, new memories, new family, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
We'll just make sure they're not so happy experiences for him, not so happy memories that he's creating.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I mean, you couldn't tell that Cheryl lived in that house. They like totally redid it, and it's sad.
Yeah.
Very.
Well, we will definitely get together on the podcast, and then sometime in person, we'll take and meet up. And again, I appreciate your guys' fire, your guys' spunk, because I don't think that if prosecutors want any of this, there's a whole lot of spunk and a whole lot of fire going on here, and
toned down version.
it's a toned down version. Oh, I can't wait to see it. Cranked up to 10.
At least, Shelly, you got the toned down version.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed when I told her earlier.
Yeah, I know.
So
we're struggling. We're struggling. We are.
Thanks again. And if you guys ever need to chat, you got the chat there. You can hit me up personally.
Cool, man.
Doesn't matter. But
well, it's good.
All right, I'm gonna bring this to an end. Just hang tight, and I'll say bye after the live ends right about